Disneyland is becoming Walt Disney World, but not like you'd think.
Your attention, please.
What is shaking, guys? Welcome back. Disneyland, as we all know, is getting more and more crowded, and that's not going to change. We all go to the parks, and it seems like every time we go, it just gets more and more crowded. Now, Disneyland has done some things to try and help with the crowds as far as like price increases, annual pass increases, things of that nature, but they don't always seem to work. So what is the next thing to do? What is the next stage of helping out with the crowds? Well, they're going to take a page out of Disney World's book. Anyone that has been to Walt Disney World in Florida, there's one big thing that stands out, and that is space. There's much more space in Disney World. Now, yes, I know Disneyland is kind of landlocked with hotels and streets and residential areas, where Disney World has more space to operate, has more space to allow more space. For instance, take New Fantasyland in Magic Kingdom. Look at all of this space there is. Like I said, granted they have a little more space to work with, but look how big the walkways are. You don't see a lot of quick servicey kind of food. You don't see a lot of food carts, things of that nature. So they've optimized the space they have to work with. Disneyland, on the other hand, has more things like this, where things are a little more crowded, a little more jam-packed. You know, tight corridors, a lot of bottlenecks. When we were in Florida, we didn't see a lot of bottlenecks. So how is Disney taking a page out of Disney World's book? Well, they've kind of already started. Disneyland has already started doing this, but they are expanding the walkways. Especially with Galaxy's Edge right around the corner, you need room for people to walk. Now, you can't help how many people come into the park. You know, that's never going to change. But you can change how condensed the areas are. So, Disney has already done this, or at least started to, and I expect more to happen here in the next few months leading up to the summer and when Galaxy's Edge opens. Now, Tomorrowland has already seen this. Tomorrowland has taken out a bunch of the planners and walkways, giving more room because we all know Tomorrowland has one of the worst bottlenecks. Another example of this is the new Matterhorn queue, where people aren't wrapped around the mountain. It's all centrally located in front of the attraction entrance itself. So again, that widens walkways by not having guests wrapped around the mountain. A third example is one that I don't have a picture of, and that is Adventureland. Adventureland used to have probably the worst bottleneck behind Tomorrowland, if not really close. But they took out all of the stroller parking area, they took out some of the planners, they definitely widened and gave more space to Adventureland, because like I said, it had one of the worst bottlenecks. As far as construction that's already happened, just look at the walkway leading into Galaxy's Edge from Frontierland. That is a wide walkway compared to what we've seen Disneyland do in the past. Disneyland's known for smaller corridors, smaller walkways, because it's a much smaller park than Florida. But just look at this walkway, it is much wider to hold a lot more people. Now, there are a couple solutions or a couple areas where I think they could expand even more, expand the walkways even more. And I've outlined this in a recent Park Adventure video, where right next to Big Thunder Mountain, there is a little quick snack produce area location, I guess you could call it, where you can buy pineapple, pickles, I think you can buy turkey legs there. You can get rid of all of that and automatically widen the path. Because we all know another little bottleneck, it's not as bad, is right next to right next to Big Thunder Mountain, right as you exit Big Thunder Trail. Going down the hill, and again, that's where this location is. You can move this, get rid of it, and you suddenly have more space. Another thing Disneyland can do is take another page out of Disney World's playbook, and that is, in 2015, Magic Kingdom underwent a massive refurbishment of its hub. It added AstroTurf and concrete viewing locations for their fireworks. Now, these aren't just for viewing locations, they are pathways, room for people to move. And that's one thing that Disneyland really suffers from, is being able to move, especially during fireworks, parades. Things get very claustrophobic. People crowd around. You can't really move around the park. You know, we've stated in videos before, once you're on one side of the park at night, you need to stay there until the fireworks or parades have passed through. Well, that's something that Disneyland could think about doing, is redoing the hub. There's a lot of tree planters, and I love trees and plants, and that's one thing that I love about Disneyland compared to Florida. We have more trees, more plants, more greenery, more scenery to look at. But in a park that is always overcrowded now, that's constantly growing in population, in crowd population, Disneyland has to do something. And if they could mimic, or not necessarily mimic, but get close to what Magic Kingdom has in Disney World, that would expand so much more space just for people to move around and to operate. You got to be able to breathe. And Disneyland can sometimes get very, very, very claustrophobic. Now, the hub idea won't happen by the time Galaxy's Edge opens up. That is going to be the struggle here, because they'd have to start construction on that now. And I have not seen anything, I have not heard anything about a possible hub remodel. So that might be a stretch, but once Galaxy's Edge opens and they can see how much traffic goes through the hub, because a lot of people are going to dart left. As soon as you get through Main Street, they're going to go left through Frontierland and go that way to get to Galaxy's Edge. Or go through Adventureland, go the long way through Critter Country. That is how people are going to get to Galaxy's Edge. So the hub might not be that impacted, but there's always that chance that Disneyland raises its capacity, leading more people in the park, more people for fireworks, more people for parades, and the hub, we all know, is a nightmare. So what do you guys think? What can Disneyland do to expand some of these pathways, some of these walkways, the hub areas that naturally get bottlenecked? Now, there are a couple obvious answers, especially like Tomorrowland, move Astro Orbiter, but again, where are you going to put it? So, not taking rides out, not moving rides around, just strictly what they have to work with right now, as far as food kiosks, popcorn carts, things of that nature, things you can easily move or tear down, and things like that. What can Disneyland do to expand some of these walkways to make Disneyland seem less crowded? So those are my ideas going forward. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you guys think Disneyland could do to widen some of these pathways and to make Disneyland seem less crowded. And that's going to do it for today, guys. If you haven't done so already, give this video a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when other videos like this or other park adventure videos are uploaded. And like always, if you guys are at any of the Disney parks, tell Mickey I say hi. And I will see you all a little later.